Hello students, this video is about algal bloom. Students, algal bloom is an important topic of phycology and many countries of the world are facing so many challenges due to harmful algal bloom. So students, let's know in detail what is an algal bloom, what are its causes and what are its impact on the aquatic water bodies. Students, an algal bloom is a rapid increase in the population of algae in an aquatic ecosystem that may be freshwater or marine. Algal blooms occur mainly due to nutrient enrichment in the water bodies. Nitrogen and phosphorus as a fertilizer run off from the terrestrial habitat and enter into the aquatic ecosystem. It further causes excessive growth of algae that leads to algal bloom. An algal bloom affects the whole ecosystem and its consequences ranges from the benign feeding of high tropical levels to more harmful effects like blocking sunlight from reaching to other organisms, causing depletion of oxygen level as well as secretion of harmful toxins into the water. This process of the oversupply of the nutrients leading to algal growth and oxygen depletion as a result of eutrophication is the algal bloom. Students, algal bloom is mainly caused by algae belonging to Cyanophyceae. But a few members of the Chlorophyceae, Euglenophyceae and Pyrophyceae are also known to cause algal bloom. Students, you can see in this image algal bloom occurring in an aquatic ecosystem. Students, algal bloom may have many injurious effects on the aquatic ecology, and the blooms that injures aquatic ecology in a negative way or in largely or widely that are known as harmful algal blooms. Harmful algal blooms can cause fish die off even to the large creatures like whales. Students, whale cell examination shows that cells contain a deadly toxin produced by a dinoflagellate. It shows that when the whales fed on the toxin producing algae or on the fishes that had eaten the algae, the toxin reaches a deadly level and killed the whales. So, a small organism can kill huge creature by the algal bloom. Students, discoloration of water is also due to algal pigments. So, color of water determines the level of algal bloom. Next is types of algal bloom. Students, algal bloom can be of following types. First one is permanent algal bloom. Generally, a number of temple ponds and a few lakes face permanent algal bloom due to their stagnant water. Students, people due to their religious belief afraid to use water of these water bodies. So, water remains stagnant and permanent algal bloom dwell in these water bodies. Except that big ponds and water reservoirs of the tropic also face permanent algal bloom due to high temperature around the year. Students, next one is temporary algal bloom. In tropical region, temperature is always higher, so the algal bloom persists round the year. But the temperate region, algal bloom do not persist around the year due to low temperature in winters. So it is of temporary type in those water bodies. Next one is thick or dense algal bloom. Students, algal bloom is thick during winters and summers due to stagnant water, while it is thin during rainy season because during rainy season there is sudden increase in water level which dilute the bloom. So this type is known as thin algal bloom. Next one is very important algal bloom, that is salt water algal bloom. Students, salt water algal bloom are usually called as red tide. This is because the water usually turn red due to red pigment in the algae. But red tides can also look down green or even be colorless depending upon the algae that causes the red tide. Dinoflagellates and diatoms frequently bloom in red tides. Students' causes of red tide are increase in nutrient content, seasonal or climate changes, as well as increase in ocean temperature. You can see in this image a red tide which occur in saltwater water body. Then what are the effects of red tides? Students, red tides are very dangerous because they secrete the harmful toxins in the water bodies. These toxins become concentrated in the bodies of the organism that consume the algae. For example, shellfish is eaten by fish and fish is eaten by the larger organism like whales. Human beings become sick when they eat the shellfish and the fish that have fed off of the algae. Students, we can also understand this red tide or salt water tide as well as algal bloom in salt water by this flow chart. Students, red tide is known as saltwater algal bloom, and algae which causes saltwater algal bloom is usually red and turn the water red. And dinoflagellate and diatoms are associated with this type of algal bloom. Its effects are high level of concentration in animals that consume the algae. Dangerous toxin build up. Small organisms eat the algae and store the toxins, and bigger organisms eat them and become poisoned. So these are the effects of the algal bloom in salt water. Students, you can see in these images, red tide occur due to salt water algal bloom, and color of water may turn red or it is colorless. Next is freshwater blooms. Students, eutrophication is the main cause of the freshwater blooms. And as I told you, it is the process by which water bodies receive excessive amount of nutrients from the surrounding habitats, and that leads to excessive growth of the algae causing algal bloom. Students, causes of the eutrophication may be natural or man-made. Human activities increases the rate of eutrophication. When farmers and house owners use fertilizer and their runoff into nearby ponds and streams due to rainfall causes eutrophication. Except that sewage treatment plants leak wastewater into the soil and the nutrients from the water make their way into the nearby ponds as well as streams. Effects of the eutrophications. Eutrophication triggers a series of events with serious consequences. For example, sunlight doesn't reach plants and other algae below the surface. Then these organisms die due to lack of sunlight. Then decomposer like bacteria increases. They further consume the oxygen of the water and leads to fish and other organism mortality due to lack of oxygen. Students, we can understood this by this slide. First step is nutrient load up increases in the water bodies due to excessive nutrients from fertilizers which run into the water due to rainfall. Then it causes plants flourish. These nutrients leads to excessive growth of the algae, duckweed and other plants, which leads to pollution in the water bodies. And this algal bloom leads to depletion of oxygen in the water. The plants die and oxygen in the water is depleted. Then decomposition further deplete oxygen because dead plants are broken down by bacteria decomposer using up even more oxygen in the water. And ultimately it leads to death of the ecosystem. Students, oxygen level reach a point where no life is possible and fish as well as other organisms die in the water bodies. So these are the effect of the freshwater algal bloom, that is the result of eutrophication. You can see images of freshwater algal bloom and that generally occur in stagnant water. Next is harmful algal bloom. Students, a harmful algal bloom is an algal bloom that causes negative impact to the aquatic organism by production of natural toxins and mechanical damage to aquatic organism. Harmful algal blooms are often associated with large-scale marine mortality events and have been associated with various types of shellfish poisoning. It may further causes death of the aquatic organism by blocking sunlight to reach other organism, by depleting oxygen as well as secretion of toxins in the water. Students, harmful algal blooms may produce dense blooms which leads to oxygen stress, and dense blooms are the result of the excessive growth of dinoflagellates, diatoms, rhapidophytes, parmesiophytes, cyanobacteria, which are prokaryotic microbes. So, harmful algal blooms may further is of dense bloom type. Second is it produces potent toxins which causes illness and death by food chain and biomass accumulation. And various types of the harmful algal blooms are again of the following type. First is paralytic shellfish poisoning, diarrheal shellfish poisoning, neurotoxic shellfish poisoning, Ciguataria fish food poisoning, Eusteri associated syndrome, amnesic shellfish poisoning, as well as cyanobacterial toxin poisoning. So, students, the organs they impact or the organism they kill on that basis, these are the types of the harmful algal blooms, and they are given short forms like PSP, that is paralytic shellfish poisoning, DSP, diarrheal shellfish poisoning, NSP, neurotoxic shellfish poisoning, CFP, Ciguatera fish food poisoning, EAS, Eusteri associated syndrome, ASP, amnesic shellfish poisoning, as well as CTP, that is cyanobacterial toxin poisoning. Students, first five types are caused by dinoflagellates, while the next last two are caused by diatoms. Students, on that basis, algal blooms may be of toxic or non-toxic type. Toxic one causes mammal mortality in large scale. It also impacts seabirds and have several human health syndromes that are caused by diatoms as well as dinoflagellates. As I explained to you earlier, diatoms can cause ASV while dinoflagellates causes PSP, NSP, CFP as well as TSP. If we talk about non-toxic harmful algal, algal bloom, that can cause eutrophication, which further may causes fish poisoning. It also can cause irritation in the fish gill. Then it can cause blocking of the light, which will cause further death of the aquatic plants. It may also cause larval fish shellfish poisoning and stop their feeding or breeding. So these are the effect of harmful algal bloom. Next is reason for increase in harmful algal blooms. Students, there is combination of the factor that triggers and sustain algal bloom, and factors that can contribute to harmful algal bloom include nutrient content. Excessive nutrient, mainly phosphorus or nitrogen, causes eutrophication. Second is sunlight and temperature. Students, algal bloom generally develop in spring to summer season when there is increased light and temperature is high. Temperature above 25 degrees Celsius is optimum for the growth of blue-green algae in tropical regions, and temperature is always higher so that the algal bloom persists round the year, means it is of permanent type. But the temperate region algal bloom is of temporary because it cannot persist in the winters due to low temperature. Next is hydrology. Most of the algal blooms prefer stable water condition for their growth. For example, low flow of water, stagnant or calm water, low wind and minimum turbulence are the ideal condition for algal growth. During drought, high extraction of water from rivers, dams and other reservoirs or other sources for irrigation or human consumption decreases flow of water or making it stagnant, which further increase algal growth, causing algal bloom. Next is water chemistry. Students, water pH, carbon availability, conductivity, salinity, etc. further leads to excessive nitrogen phosphorus leaching and excess of B12 in water. As a result of that, surface runoff stimulate dinoflagellates in water. Students, we can understand causes of algal bloom by this chart. Main causes of algal bloom are climatic factor like flood or drought, because flood causes leaching of the nutrients while drought make water bodies stagnant. Then change in salinity. Due to high nitrogen and phosphorus, salinity in water bodies decreases, which causes algal growth. Then excessive use of agriculture fertilizer and their runoff into the water bodies, as well as animal waste runoff into the water bodies. Next is chemical discharge and industrial waste into the water bodies. Next one is sewage and waste runoff. Next is high pH in the water bodies. Next is high temperature. Then is abundant light. Next one is stagnant water. Then next is excessive nutrients, which causes eutrophication. And last but not least is increased amount of CO2. So students, these are the main causes which causes algal bloom, which further leads to depletion of oxygen and release of toxins into the water bodies. So that's all about algal bloom. In next video, I will share with you some major impact as well as example of algal bloom in India as well as in rest of the world. I will also explain to you methods of controlling algal bloom. Students, I hope you understood this topic. Thank you for listening.